Welcome to another video of Origins. This video is part of our Nicheless series. And today we will be covering the origin of football, known to many as soccer. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and be notified. We are posting new videos all the time. And now, let's go ahead with the video. Old Mesoamerican tribes produced the earliest recorded instances of team games utilizing a ball formed of a rock more than 3,000 years ago. Although there were numerous variations of the game played throughout a wide area, it was created by the Aztecs and it was called Chatali. The ball might represent the sun on certain ritual occasions, and the losing team's captain might be offered as a sacrifice to the gods. A Rubber-made bouncing ball was a distinctive aspect of Mesoamerican forms of ball games. No other early culture had access to rubber. The first documented kick and ball game, known as Cuju, was played in China between the 3rd and 2nd centuries BC. Cuju was played on a square-shaped space with a circular ball made of stitched leather with fur or feathers inside. Later, a modified version of this game known as Kemari was played in ceremonial settings and spread to Japan. Marngook, a ball game played by Aboriginal Australians and described by white immigrants as a game mostly requiring kicking in the 1800s, was possibly an even older version of Cuju. Encased leaves or roots were used to create the ball. The majority of the rules are unknown. However, keeping the ball in the air was undoubtedly a key component, just like in many other early iterations of the game. Other types of ball games have existed since the time of ancient Greece. The ball was created using hair-filled leather slivers. The first documents of balls filled with air are from the 7th century. However, ball games were considered low status and were excluded from the Panhellenic Games. Games using balls did not take place during entertainment in the large arenas, amphitheaters, of ancient Rome, but rather during military drills known as harpistone. Football was introduced to the British island, Britannica, by the Romans. However, it is unclear to what extent the British population was inspired by this type and to what extent they had created their own variations. Football assumes its current form, and according to the most widely accepted theory, the game was created in England in the 12th century. Football-like sports were played in this century on English highways and fields. In addition to kicks, the game also incorporated fist blows at the ball. Additionally, compared to modern football, this early version of the sport was significantly rougher and more brutal. The fact that the predecessors to football had many players and were played across expansive spaces in cities was a key aspect of those games. An equivalent game was played in Florence from the 16th century where it was called calcio. These games would rampage, damaging the town and occasionally killing the players. These would be some of the justifications for the declarations that the game should be banned, as it eventually was for several centuries. But in the 17th century, street football games would return to London. The game had already become widespread in public schools at this point, though it would be outlawed once more in 1835. But it took a while before modern football's elements started to be used in games. Rugby and football did not clearly separate themselves for a very long period. There were also a lot of variations in the ball's size, the number of players, and the duration of the game. Rugby and Eton were two of the more popular schools where the game was frequently played. Rugby's rules allowed players to pick up the ball with their hands, and it was from this point that the sport we now know as rugby emerged. On the other side, at Eton, the ball was played with the feet, and this game was closely related to modern football. Rugby's game was referred to as the running game, whereas Eton's game was referred to as the dribbling game. At a meeting in Cambridge in 1848, an attempt was made to establish adequate game rules, but no comprehensive answer to all rule-related issues could be found. The first Football Association of England was established in London in 1863, which was a significant development in football history. It was ruled that hand carrying the ball was prohibited. The meeting also led to the standardization of the ball's size and weight. The division of the game into association football and rugby as a result of the London meeting. Nevertheless, there was still a lot of room for the rules to change, and the game would last a very long period. One possibility is the variation in the number of players on the field. Neither team's appearance was differentiated by wearing a uniform. It was also typical for players to wear caps because the header had not yet been implemented into the game. At this point, there is still a significant disparity between the English and Scottish squads. The Scottish teams opted to pass the ball amongst their players, as opposed to the English teams, who preferred to run forward with the ball in a more rugby-like approach. It would be the Scottish method that quickly took hold. In the beginning, the sport served as a form of entertainment for the working class in Britain. In the late 19th century, record crowds of up to 30,000 people would watch the major matches. The game would quickly grow as a result of British colonial attempts and people from Britain traveling to other areas of the world. Football would attract a lot of interest, particularly in South America and India, eventually becoming the most followed sport in the world. This was all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. Is there anything you would like to know the origins of? Please tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified if you enjoy the video. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching. See you next time.